What's up, my crown jewels? It is the one and only Opulence. Have you missed me?
Opulence. You own everything. Everything is yours.
And tonight we are going to be discussing the slap heard around the world, but not the slap itself, but the backlash behind it, and how the Hollywood community is in such an uproar about it. But with them being in such an uproar about it, let's talk about some of the things that everyone who had something to say about it has done, did, and or still doing. I have a list right here, and we're going to read it off, and I'm going to start from the back and work my way on to the front just to make sure that I have gotten all of those that I deem worthy for their infractions about this. First of all, I would like to give a great shout out to Lakeith Stanfield and Tiffany Haddish for their response on the whole thing. They kept it cool, calm, collective, and very professional. Lakeith said, "Hey, that's crazy." And Tiffany Haddish, she did what she do. And she went in on the reporter lady with no shoes on the red carpet. Like, how low budget is that? Like, you have that much privilege in the world that at an elegant event, you would try to downgrade someone's couture stylings. You know, this is what money looks like. This is what fame looks like. This is what eleganza looks like, which it was. And, she looked very nice to me. But, the old barefoot down at the hoot nanny is on the red carpet talking about, "Oh, I like your little costume. Don't belittle her fit like that. That's just rude, ma'am." And you're walking around tar-footed, looking like you're kicking a can down in the Appalachian Mountains. Ma'am, come correct. But to start off, I would like to talk about Amy Schumer and her response to the whole debacle. Now, Amy Schumer, her thing was, I can't believe he did such a thing. Oh my God, I am traumatized. She's traumatized. She fears for her life. She is just emotional. She's an emotional wreck. And it's a possibility she could be back to pulling out her hair because this one incident between these two men has just put her in such a headspace that she just doesn't know what to do. But what Amy Schumer is most upset about is a joke that she could not tell. And I'm reading an article from BuzzFeed about Amy Schumer revealed the one joke she wasn't allowed to tell at the Oscars. What is that innocent joke, do you ask? Well, this is how it went. In her response to the Willard and Christopher debacle, she said that they would not allow her to tell the one joke, including "Don't Look Up" is the name of a movie. More like "Don't look down the barrel of Alec Baldwin's shotgun." Tee. Ma'am, what kind of monster are you to laugh at a woman's literal demise? This woman has children. This woman has a husband. This woman had a family. and she was taken away from them in the blink of an eye. But you find a 6 feet under mom joke, comedy, and something to laugh about. And this isn't taken out of context. This is in because that's something that is being thrown around a lot here. Oh, you're just taking what she said out of context. No, she wanted to tell a deceased mom joke because she felt it was funny. But two men on a stage, one being getting a slammy jammy put down on him, good old Rock style, the Rock the wrestler, I mean, because wasn't there a move where he pats his elbow or pats his hand and then he puts the smackdown on the opponent. She is so disgruntled and upset and can't sleep at night behind that, walking around looking like a werewolf with mange who's just plucked her last hair out because she's just a nervous wreck about it. But she wants to tell jokes about someone whose life was ended prematurely. Why? And how is that more acceptable than them two men getting into a little fisticuff? And it wasn't even a fisticuff. He just walked up there, smacked him, went and sat back down. But we are just oh so up in arms about it, and we just don't know what to do. And now the black community is saying that his actions have put a bad light on the community. I don't understand how, because no one in any community is getting Will Smith money. And whatever Willard does, good or bad, it doesn't really reflect on each individual person at all. It just reflects upon him and his family. But I like, what kind of weirdo thinks that jokes about the deceased, very recently actually, are comedic gold? Like, that's the like that is what she's upset about, that she couldn't tell a joke like that. A very distasteful joke, if I may add. But she would like to know, why couldn't she tell that joke, but Willard can go up on stage and do what he does? And they're like, and I know some will say, oh, well, she didn't tell the joke at the Oscars, but the joke is still out there. She wanted to tell the joke. She told the joke to whatever reporter she was reporting this to. And now the joke's out there. But she finds that funny. And I, for the most part, am not on board with that at all. That is what brings disgrace to the community. Mm, but as I've come to see, there are very big differentials. And maybe this is, me being a part of the quote unquote new school way of thinking. But people like her seem to get away with a lot more than people like Will Smith, you know? And the thing about Will Smith is, I think he hit a disabled person. Like, Christopher has something wrong, like short bus wrong, like window licking wrong, like kind of wrong. He is somewhere on the spectrum, and I am so very sure that it is way far down. The way he was portrayed on Everybody Hates Chris, that young man did him a great justice. Okay, because he seems a whole lot more intelligent than what the real life Chris is. And you can even tell by some of the interviews that he's conducted. Or maybe Willard just smacked all the good sense out of him because he can't keep his eyes focused. His lips are just moving. Like it's a very autistic kind of look to it. If you understand what I'm saying, it's you can look at him and tell something is not quite right. Now, Will smacking the disabled, yeah, that's bad, you know. But uh, it is not. It's not everything that everyone is making it out to be. This is not the most tragic thing that has ever happened at the Oscars. It was back in the day. One of the rodeo cowboys tried to get up on stage and throttle an indigenous American for her own views on the way that they are portrayed in movies versus cowboys. And it's the whole white savior thing. And it could have been Clint Eastwood, it could have been one of the other ones. But he was ready to go up there and break a whole cowboy boot off in Princess Littlefoot's butt. And it took 6 men to stop him. They the Oscars literally made a black actress who won an award for Gone with the Wind sit in the back with the help. That that is truly something that is disgusting and shows a lot about who the Oscars were. Like Will Slap is what got people talking about the Oscars again after it was so whitewashed in past years, and how there was very rarely a person of color, of any color, except for, white color, who were awarded for their endeavors in the cinematic world. But we don't like to talk about race because race doesn't matter, right? Racism is over, and we don't do that anymore. I mean, I'm sure it seems that way to the people who aren't actually involved. And then when it seems that when people of color are nominated, we say that, oh, well, they're only doing that for the woke generation. Like these people's accomplishments do not matter, no matter what they do at all. Viola Davis is considered the black Meryl Streep. Why isn't Viola Davis considered the great Viola Davis? And she has done all kinds of roles. And going down the cinematic line, like it really seems to me that a lot of black actors have to start off as uh, drug users, drug doers, gang members, streetwalkers, something that isn't, you know, one of the lower levels on the lower rung of society, as some may seem. Even for them to be acknowledged for anything that they do. And it's amazing. It's kind of like with Kareem Abdul Jabbar and his reaction to the whole situation. Now, if you don't know or if you haven't heard, Kareem Abdul Jabbar's son, I want to say his name might be Adam Abdul Jabbar, but he shanked the neighbor. He shanked his 60-year-old neighbor over trash cans. Gave the old dude concussions and fractures, and he poked holes in him, like poked holes in the gentleman. But he isn't. He like I'm. If you've never heard about it, why isn't Kareem upset about that? Why doesn't he have this guttural reaction that he had to Will's good old fashioned WWE SmackDown? Does he think his son was in the right? Does he think his son is not a part of the black community? Is he not is he not Google Gobble one of them? Like he tried to execute and out, just put a guy's whole flicker and flame out, just snuffed him, huh? And luckily he didn't. But how is it that you have such a great big reaction to what Will did versus to the actual bloodshed that your son caused and created over a trash can? But why no one is speaking about that, I have the slightest idea. But look it up. Just type in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's son and see what comes up. And I can assure you it is nothing nice. Nothing nice at all. You know. And for me, and this is just for me, Christopher puts on very much of a minstrel show. And what minstrels were impersonations or acts done way back in the Jim Crow La Ti Da era, where, they put on cork paint on their face to blacken it and then drew on extremely big lips and did the oh mammy kind of tap dance running show to entertain the white masses. And everyone is fine with those kind of performers. And I find Chris to be exactly like one of those performers. Like a very let me tap dance for you and ha 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 ha, even in his laugh. Like honestly, if you would look at the old school cartoon imitations of what they depicted black people as and real life Chris Rock, they're basically the same thing. Like it flows right together into each other and you can't tell a difference. Chris he makes people feel comfortable, with his show and dance and his antics. He gives very much a Pookie kind of character vibe. And if no one knows what a Pookie is, he played a drug abuser in a movie back in the day, and very ashy lipped, like weirdo, like nappy headed, like it's awful, it's awful. But that was his claim to fame, and that is how he got inserted into Hollywood and how he became comfortable to the masses, as one will say, for him to be accepted. And now with a lot of black actors, like I'm sure that they feel once they've gotten their foot in the door and comfortable, kind of like Will did. Will is the nice guy of Hollywood. And now everybody's like, oh no, he's a ruffian. He's a thug. Look at him. That's always the way those kind act, those kind. Wink, wink. You know, you know who we're talking about when we talk about those kind of people. And his good guy persona seems to be shattered. Now, one thing I will say, none of us out here have Will Smith money. So he'll be fine. His career, it might be a little roughed up, but it's not over. He's gotten movies taken away, you know. Joe Rogan can say the N-word from sun up to sundown, come back with an apology, and we are literally supposed to say, "Oh, Joey, we know what you meant when you were saying the N word and black people reminded you of Planet of the Apes. We know, oh Joey, because we think the same way too. That is the way a lot of Americans seen the Joe Rogan situation. And he was absolved of all his sins and got a couple million, quite a few million to be precise. But all in all, he was forgiven for his transgressions very quickly, very very quickly. And now he just knows, well, maybe I can't say it out in public or get caught on a hot mic saying what I want to say. You know, I think I conduct myself a little bit, you know, in the sense of I can't say all of the things that I think I would want to say plainly and not be canceled or have my channel taken away. Like, in all reality, I'm not making any money from this. I'm putting my views out there, and I want to see what the world has to say about the views that we share in this great place that we're all a part of, you know? And it's crazy that there has been such a outrage and such a lynch mob kind of mentality. Speaking of, we just passed a lynch mobbing bill or law that says you shouldn't hang black people. No, that's wrong. I don't understand how, but it took long enough. But hey, they got it passed. Yay! I'm not sure because I'm sure it's still gonna happen. They're just gonna say, "Well, we don't know who did it. We can't find the culprit. We don't know. Oops! It was probably suicide." While the black guy is hanging from a tree with his hands tied behind his back and feet bound. Like, yeah, that's definitely, yeah, that's self-inflicted right there. Yeah, that's what that is. That's all just self-inflicted. But let's talk about old Mrs. Robinson, Zoe Kravitz. Now, I was on the blogs and everything, and I seen that Twitter came out with a plethora of information on her, trying to lure young men into her white van with hopes of candy and libation. Because, as they say, candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. And I am so sure, just from looking at her and reading her body language and vibes, she was going throw little Jaden some super duper, some of that wop, as the kids may say, you know some of that thang. I don't want to get too urban about it, but you know what I'm saying. A little wink wink, nudge nudge, a little slip and slide, a little pickle tickle, you know, a little Jim Dandy, you know. She wanted to give him something good, and she wanted to make him a million. She was gonna make that boy a million, you know. And she pawed on him, and she said, "Oh, how much she liked him at 14." And at the time, she was a good 24. and he was gonna be he's gonna be my husband one day. Stop thinking that way, you naughty girl. I can't think about that. Yeah, but you literally were Harvey Epsteining on Will Smith's son, trying to take his young little virtue. Like you like heavens me, oh my. Like you're no better than the guy Bootsy. I think that's his name, Bootsy, where he got some old lady to go and play with his children's in a very inappropriate way. But you know, him being a boy or not, that's not okay. Do not try to ruin your children's innocence with your buffoonery. And this is for all adults out there. Let them learn the good old fashioned way with someone their own age in a basement. You know, nobody knows what they're doing, but somehow we all figured it out. You know, tell them the twos and fro's about it, and tell them where babies come from, and tell them the repercussions behind doing such things and what can happen, what does happen. And then all you can really do is just let them go and hope that they're responsible enough to understand the repercussions of such an enjoyable kind of time. You know, it seems like it's one of those things where you don't want them to do it, but you're so proud of them when they do, at least in the case of boys. Now, in the case of girls, you keep your knees together and your chastity belt on, and you don't even think about such dirty, dirty things, you filthy little wombat. How dare you? For some reason, women cannot be, you know, expressive creatures in that manner. And that's wrong. Women have feelings just as men do, if not more. But they're taught to, if you do those kind of things, you are devalued in this world. And that's just not true. It's not true at all. You know, you could be a good Christian girl and, it's either mouth or bottoms, But just don't let them go through the front door. Let them go through the back door. Don't let them go through the front door, Because going through the front door, that's how babies are made. And I don't care what they're trying to teach these children in school now. No, that's how babies are made. Yep. And that's the only way babies are made, kind of. You can do it with a turkey baster, but that's not as fun, you know. That's very clinical. No one wants to do that. You only do it for money. Kind of like Kim Kardashian and her brood. She's had one and she was like, okay, I'm done. I did it. I tried it. And I don't want to do it no more. I'm going to outsource it. Send it to a lady in India and have her, go through it all. And then, you could just send me back the good results. I wonder how is that okay, so North is the one real biological, Christian made baby, but all the others are basically hand me off test tube babies. Here, go in the bathroom. There's no hot sauce in this prophylactic. Go ahead and, make it happen. That must be weird for them. But to get back on subject, last but not least is Mabu Wanda Sykes. Now, I would very much like to understand where on God's green earth that she gets this such such reaction. Like she's no better than Amy Schumer. You're doing a straight up Emmett Till on someone who looks just like you, Mabu. Now, your French wife, straight out of France, no deodorant, chain smoking cigarettes, parlez-vous français, oui, oui, wife, you know, and you're like, oh, he has brought in shame and dishonor to the black community, and how could he? I mean, that man did what he did because he wanted to do what he do. Are you saying that reflects poorly upon yourself? Are you saying that Hollywood will no longer trust any person of color to act responsibly, reasonably, rationally? Is there no way for the black community to redeem themselves from this one reaction that had to do with just basically those two people, maybe three people, if you want to count Jada in on it. And Willard, if you don't leave that woman, she is doing nothing good for you. She ain't been in a movie in I don't know how long, and she messing up the family money. I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna need you to get your kitty, pack it up, and leave her alone because that woman ain't no good for your son. If your mama ain't told you and your grandmammy ain't sat you down and say, you better leave that gal alone, I am here to do such things. Willard, I'm talking to you. Leave that woman alone because she ain't did nothing but it. There is no way that anyone should allow their spouse to embarrass them. Now, we've heard about they say that they're in an open marriage of some kind. And in an open marriage, usually both partners are out doing whatever and then they meet somewhere back in the middle. I don't understand that kind of thing, but it's not for me, and that's not my situation. If you guys like to do that, that's fine. It's okay, But now that the whole public knows about it, this becomes a whole different situation. And basically, it's just her embarrassed. That woman is embarrassing you and making you look like the biggest simp, chump, cuckold on God's green earth. Like it's even worse than Terry Crews letting the executive guy jiggle his toilet handle, a little ding ding, pull on the trolley cord. He want to feel some meat in his hands. And Terry Crews sat there and he let him. Until this day, he still will not mention who did it. That means he is fearful. That man has that much power over him that he is fearful to even mention the name of the person that literally assaulted him. And speaking of assaults, let's talk about Jim Carrey. Now, Jim Carrey sexually assaulted, and yes, he sexually assaulted Alicia Silverstone sometime in the 90s on an MTV Video Music Award kind of deal. But he forced himself upon her. She was 19 years old at the time, and he's good well into his 40s. And he forced himself upon her, and everybody laughed. How can you laugh at an assault on national television? I thought those kind of things were looked down upon. But what makes Jim Carrey and Will Smith different? I wonder. I will say Will Smith gets paid a whole lot more. Will Smith is still relevant, But what can make Jim Carrey and Will Smith so much different that their actions are just looked upon so much more differently? Alicia Silverstone gave the ew as if you've ever seen the movie Clueless, watch that one part of the movie and then watch her reaction of Jim Carrey ramming his tongue down her throat on stage in front of the world to see unwarrantedly, unwanted. She didn't want that man to kiss her. That was not on her itinerary of things to go down that night. But for some reason, I've seen the excuse made, oh, well, it couldn't have been that bad. She didn't run off stage crying or anything. Well, neither did Chris Rock. So was she supposed to, in that moment, drop, I guess, quote unquote, professionalism, as they say Chris Rock has had? Was she supposed to drop her professionalism, run off stage in tears, and then throw herself upon the fainting couch and weep? Would that have made the situation better for, I don't know, whoever? But wrong is wrong. And why isn't Alicia Silverstone suing that man for assault that was caught on camera, but everybody just key and ha 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 and chuckled about it and thought that it was, oh, that's great entertainment right there. Why? I would really like to know why. I have my own theories about it. Others have their own theories about it. But all in all, do our theories really matter? Because nothing was done about it. Nothing will be done about it. It just is what it is. Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein, the Steen brothers, have done so much malicious, just awful, undignified. Even Prince Andrew. Do you know that this man got off by paying his victim $15 million? It was settled. They didn't say he didn't do it. They just settled out of court. And everything was fine. So basically, the girl got diddled for $15 million. Way down the line, but you know. And it wasn't a problem back then, but it was a problem when everything came out. And a lot of these things seem to just boil down to simply money. Money. And for a lot of actors, especially actors of a certain je ne sais quoi, shall we say, they get to get off literally 2 times. Once on their back and then once in the court of public opinion. These rich and powerful men and women, as it's come to be seen, are able to do what they want, especially with actors of color or women. And it's fine. It's something that, that's just something that happens. That's just the way it goes. Boop. Who are we to say what? We are the people. That's who. And everyone who has such a reaction to this and feel that Will doing what he did just it ruined your life, and you don't know how you're going to sleep at night, and what will you tell the babies, and what has our society come to. I really need you to look in upon yourself, because you know what? The things you do in the dark will definitely come to the light. Kind of like Zoe Kravitz trying to lure young boys into her white van with candy and libations. Or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's, little Chucky doll of a son going full throttle on the neighbor over trash cans. Or Mabu Wanda Sykes playing literal mammy to her French wife's illegitimate children that she's adopted, you know. Or Jim Carrey trying to pull a Donald Trump and just snatch the cat, you know. Even Donald, like, come on now. Donald Trump said his voice, you can just snatch the cat. They'll let you do it. You got money. So, of course, they'll let you do it. But Billy Bush gets fired. Like, how does that even happen? Billy Bush got in trouble for what somebody else said. How? Who are these people in these? Because there has to be somebody at the tippy top of all this that's controlling all of this. I don't know if it's I think they call it the Illuminati, or if it's the Boule, or whatever high society people that say what's in fashion, what's out of fashion, what looks good, what doesn't look good, who's in, who's out, and who is all about. But to all of my actors of color, and I don't care what color you are, all the colors except for the pink color, I guess, or the white color, because white people aren't really white. They have more of a pinkish tone, a rosy tone, to them. But these are the people who you are looking to for acknowledgement. These are the people you are looking to get by in this world. These are the people who control your purse strings, your personality strings, your life strings. What will you do to make it better for not only yourself, but your nepotism children that you're putting out here? What about your babies? You want to think about the babies of the world, but what about your babies? Like Will's career, although I can't say that it's been stopped dead in its tracks, it is on a very rough and patchy terrain. Like you kind of hop the tracks and you could be speeding toward a cliff. And I just want you to do better. I want everyone to do better. I want actors to be looked at as actors, not the color of the actor, not the gender of the actor, or the sex of the actor, for that matter. But for the actor to be that actor and for them to act in a good role and immerse us in the visual experience that we as the public are looking for. But all in all, if you enjoyed this, hit the like, hit the subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think about the whole situation. And let's talk about it. You want to talk about it? I want to talk about it. Let's talk about it. But maybe not this and something else. But give me something good that we can sit on the porch and have a sweet tea talk about. You know, have a mint julep maybe. You know, smoke a little sticky icky. But all in all, guys, love you guys. You, my crown jewels, are what make me shine. Love you guys. Bye.